on my feet. Um, which I cannot show you because it would be difficult to have show my feet on camera in a way that wasn't solicitous, you know. But I have some stick and poke tree patterns on my feet that I like very much. But this I got done professionally because I needed the detail to be pretty specific, you know. You know. Okay. Gosh, I have a lot of hair. Just have a lot of hair today. Yes, I saw your answer, and yeah, 3 kids, a 5-year-old and a 9-year-old and a 7-month-old. That sounds like quite a handful. Pain levels for hand, minimal. Yeah, people, I don't know. I think people respond to pain in different ways. None of the tattoos that I've gotten, the pain has been even close to like unbearable. But I haven't had work done on like my entire body. You know, like this is the largest tattoo I have. So, I mean, I think this one took the longest time because there's filling. But yeah, my tattooing is fairly minimal, and the way I do it minimizes pain. Like what I was doing on my feet, I was doing like an inch a day, right? Like just like incremental growth. Oh, the 5-year-old are twins. Oh gosh, 4 kids. Holy shit. Wow, and you have surgery next week? Holy moly. Good luck. Hey, Teresa. Hey, Nicole. You have surgery tomorrow? Gosh, Ash, what you doing on TikTok? Thank you. I mean, I've been wearing black on stream for 2 weeks now because there's a war. Did you know that there's a war? We're gonna say prayers about the war today and every day until the war is done, and then we'll keep saying the prayers. They just won't be about the war anymore. But the war's not gonna be done for quite some time, so we're gonna say prayers. I'm gonna say prayers about the war. Good morning, Erin. How are you doing? It's nice to see you. So, I'm gonna take a deep breath in. All right, now there's rice. Good morning, Melissa. It's really nice to see you. So, take a deep breath in and exhale. Inhale and exhale. What are my plans for today? Well, we're going to say these prayers. And then after we say these prayers, I am going to do some Hebrew practice. I just bought an app, a gamified app to teach me Hebrew because I'm planning on going to Israel in a month. And I need to learn the language. And there's a war there. Did you know there's a war? That's basically where 100% of my thoughts are all the time. I'm going to read some of the book of Isaiah. I'm studying the book of Isaiah. I think I'm going to make TikTok content about Isaiah. Then I'm going to go for a walk. And what else did I have on the list of things for me to do today? I made a list before I started streaming. Let's see, what else is on the list? Go for a walk, stream, Isaiah, Hebrew. No, those are all the things. Yeah, so I'm pretty lucky, right? Like I get to spend all day praying and making art. That's what I get to do with my day to day, and that's kind of wild. Like I'm at a point in my life where I can do that, and there's a war, and so I'm just thinking about the war all the time. Sorry to be a downer. So there's a goal for the stream, flames, because that's, I think, the only appropriate gift right now. So if you appreciate that I'm able to spend my time in this way and you want to support me in spending my time in this way, like, you know, making religious TikTok content, I guess, you could send some flames over or check out the link in my bio. What part of the world do you live in, Autumn? Yeah, going on walks is important. So, we're going to take a deep breath, and then we're going to say the Shema, right? So these are words that were written by the Babylonian exiles. Upon their return, they put together a book called the Book of Deuteronomy. And nothing happening is our fault, it's someone else's. Maybe everything happening is our fault. Maybe the entire universe exists because I decided it was like this, and I would experience it like this, and so all of my phenomenal experience is actually my fault, including all of the things that are happening to me, because who else's fault could they be? I'm the one who chose to exist. But did I choose? No, I didn't really choose. I just existed. My body created its perception of the world the way that it was capable of doing. That was probably too many words. Let's take a deep breath and say the Shema. Shema means listen in Hebrew. Shema Yisrael Asher Eloheinu Yahweh Echad. Vahafta et anat Elohecha ובכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך אביך יוכח הדברים האלה אשר נוחים מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך אביך יהיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובהישארך. Shema Yisrael, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Echad. Listen, Israel, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh and Allah Echad. They are one. God is one. Governor my emotions. Jesus Christ went through tremendous pain for what he believed in. Yes, he died for all our sins, and yet we kept sinning. Huh. Interesting. Very interesting. What does it mean to die in the face of oppression? To show how violent the oppressors can be and to change the world? Good morning, Julie. Truth is one, chronic bug lover. Yes, indeed. So, you can translate that prayer as, and you shall love Yahweh Eloheinu with all your heart and all your soul and all your might. And these words that I'm repeating to you today, teach them to your children and recite them when you wake up and when you go to bed. And you shall bind them as a symbol on your hand and let them serve as a sign on your forehead. And say them when you're traveling and when you're at home, and inscribe them on the doorposts of your houses and on your gates. And then there's one more part. There's one more part, and this is the most important part, okay? The most important part. This is the most important thing I'm going to say all morning, right? And the Hebrew goes like this. V'chaya, ki v'chaya Elohecha el ha'aretz asher nispa levatecha levram le'yizchach Yaakov לתת לך עברים גדולות וטובות אשר לא בנית ובתים מלאים כל טובה אשר לא מילאת וברות עצובים אשר לא עשת וכרמים וזיתים אשר נתת והלכת ושבת הישמר לך פן תשכח את יורה אשר תשכחה מארץ מצרים מבית עבדים. When Yahweh Eloheinu brings you into the land that he swore to your fathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob to assign to you in your name great and flourishing cities that you did not build, houses full of all good things that you did not fill, and hewn cisterns that you did not hew, and vineyards and olive groves that you did not plant, and you eat your fill. When God brings you to the cities that are not yours and you take them, remember Yahweh, who freed you from the land of Egypt, the house of bondage. Remember that you were slaves once too, you were oppressed once too. And none of this is yours. Got that? So, lovely seeing you too, Autumn. I hope your day is as lovely as you too. So, we're going to read from the book of Nehemiah now. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go get the book of Nehemiah. Book of Nehemiah. Okay. So, let's start at the beginning. because I forget where we left off. So, this is a story, the Book of Nehemiah. This is a story about, there was a time in the distant past when the Jews were exiled from their homeland. And then some empires, they exchanged hands, and the enemy of my enemy is your friend, is my friend, you know, and so they made friends with King Cyrus of Persia. And they said, oh, King Cyrus, you know, there was a genocide several generations ago, and what if you gave us a land to return home to because the people that you conquered, they were very mean to us. And it would be really nice of you if you undid their meanness by letting us return home. And so Cyrus says, sure, you can do that. And this is what happened when the Jews returned from exile in Babylon, and they found, lo and behold, that there were people living in that place. And those people called the place home too, the peoples of the land. Right? And so this is what happened when the exiles encountered the peoples of the land. And it's a rather sad story. So, Nehemiah. The narrative Nehemiah, son of Hakaliah, in the month of Kislev, in the 20th year, when I was in the fortress of Shushan. Hanani, one of my brothers, together with some Judahites, arrived, and I asked about the Jews, the remnant who had survived the captivity, and about Jerusalem. And they replied, the survivors who have survived the captivity there in the province are in dire trouble and disgrace. Jerusalem's walls is full of breaches, and its gates have been destroyed by fire. Its gates have been destroyed by fire. Who caused the fire? We'll find out who caused the fire. When I heard that, I sat and wept, and was in mourning for days, fasting and praying to the God of heaven. I said, O Eternal One, God of heaven, great and awesome God, who stays faithful to the covenant with those who show love and keep the commandments. Let your ear be attentive and your eyes open to receive the prayer of your servant that I am praying to you now, day and night, on behalf of the Israelites, your servants, confessing the sins that we, the Israelites, have committed against you, sins that I and my father's house have committed. Yes, Chronic Bug Lover, this is from the Torah. This is the Book of Nehemiah. So this was written about, say, 400 BC. It was written in the Persian period. So after the Babylonian exile, when the Jews were allowed to return. So this is written in the first person. So the claim is that Nehemiah wrote this. And very likely the historical person, if there was a historical person named Nehemiah, didn't write this. But there's good reason to think that somebody like Nehemiah wrote something like this around the time, right? Like, this is a memory, it's a myth of something that happened, and the things that happened in the story didn't exactly happen, but something like them did, and so, and something like them is happening today, right? So we can read this story about something like what happened in the past to understand something like what is happening now. Yeah, such is as holy books go. Yeah. So, Nehemiah says, we've committed many grave sins. That's what he says. We have offended you by not keeping the commandments, the laws, and the rules that you gave to your servant Moses. Be mindful of the promise you gave to your servant Moses. If you are unfaithful, I will scatter you among the peoples, says Moses. But if you turn back to me, faithfully keep my commandments, even if you are dispersed to the ends of the earth, I will gather them from there and bring them to the place where I have chosen to establish my name. Thank you, Trina. Thank you so much. We've reached the live goal exclusively because of you. You've bought me my morning coffee. Thank you so much, Trina. I really appreciate that. So, Moses says that no matter how many times you are exiled, no matter how many times you are placed into bondage, you shall be able to return to this spot. Regardless of the violence that you might cause in doing so, you shall be able to return. O Lord, let your ear be attentive to the prayer of your servant, and to the prayer of your servants who desire to hold your name in awe. Grant your servant success today, and dispose his master to be compassionate towards him. I was the king's cupbearer at the time. What a line to end on. I was the king's cupbearer at the time, right? You know who else was the king's cupbearer? Joseph. Joseph was the cupbearer to the Pharaoh, right? The powerful advisor. There's large political power, and the way to get what you need is to cozy up to it, you know? Nehemiah was the king's cupbearer at the time, King Cyrus. And listen to how compassionate King Cyrus is. In the month of Nisan, it's actually Artaxerxes, not Cyrus. In the month of Nisan, the 20th year of King Artaxerxes, wine was sent before him, and I took the wine and I gave it to the king. I had never been out of sorts in his presence. And the king said to me, "How is it that you look bad, though you are not ill? It must be bad thoughts." I was very frightened. But I answered the king, "May the king live forever. How should I not look bad when the city of the graveyard of my ancestors lies in ruins, and its gates have been consumed by fire?" The city of the graveyard of my ancestors. The city of the graveyard of my ancestors. And the king said to me, "What is your request?" With a prayer to God of heaven, I answered the king, "If it please the king, if your servant has found favor with you, send me to Judah, to the city of my ancestors' graves, to rebuild it. I want to rebuild the kingdom of heaven." With the consort seated at his side. Who is the consort? Is this Esther? Who is the consort? With the consort seated at his side, the king said to me, "How long will you be gone, and when will you return?" So it was agreeable to the king to send me, and I gave him a date. Then I said to the king, "If it please the king, let me have letters to the governor of the province beyond the river, directing them to grant me passage until I reach Judah. Likewise, a letter to Asaph, keeper of the king's park, directing him to give me timber for roofing the gatehouses of the temple fortress, and the city walls, and for the house I shall occupy." And the king gave me these, thanks to my God's benevolent care for me. Okay, how much longer do we have? All right, we can keep going. We can keep going. So Nehemiah is being sent back to Jerusalem to build the kingdom. When I came to the governors of the province beyond the river, I gave them the king's letters, and the king also sent army officers and cavalry with me. So the king sends letters. He says, "These people, they have permission to take over. By the way, there's an army." The king also sent some army officers, you know. When Sanballat the Horonite and Tobiah the Ammonite servant heard, it displeased them greatly that someone had come, intent on improving the condition of the Israelites. Yeah, they're like, "What are you doing taking over our land, dude? What you doing?" I arrived in Jerusalem. I was there 3 days. I got up at night, I and a few men with me, telling no one what my God had put into my mind to do for Jerusalem, and taking no other beast than the one I was riding, I went out by the valley gate at night towards the Jackal's Spring and the Dung Gate, and I surveyed the walls of Jerusalem that were breached, its gates consumed by fire. And I proceeded to the fountain gate, and to the king's pool, where there was no room for the beast under me to continue. So I went up the wadi by night, surveying the wall, and entering again by the valley gate I returned. The prefects knew nothing of where I had gone or what I had done, since I had not yet divulged it to the Jews, the priests, the nobles, the prefects, or the rest of the officials, that he's going to rebuild the wall. And then I said to them, "You see the bad state we are in? Jerusalem, lying in ruins and its gates destroyed by fire. Come, let us rebuild the wall of Jerusalem and suffer no more disgrace." I told them of my God's benevolent care for me, and also of the things that the king had said to me, and they said, "Let us start building." They were encouraged by God's benevolence. When Sanballat the Horonite and Tobiah the Ammonite servant and Geshem the Arab, heard, they mocked us and held us in contempt and said, "What is this you are doing? Are you rebelling against the king?" And I said to them in reply, "The God of heaven will grant us success, and so we, God's servants, will start building. But you have no share or claim or stake in Jerusalem." You hear that? Hear that? Nehemiah says to Geshem the Arab that he has no share or claim or stake in Jerusalem, even though he and his ancestors have been living there for thousands of years. Okay. Good to know. Good to know that Nehemiah wrote that down 2,500 years ago. Cool. What do y'all think of that? I just, am I standing here indignant for no good reason? Maybe. So now we'll, say a prayer in English to, it's like sort of palate cleanser for that. Edward Sharp and the Magnetic Zeros. Sounds very recent, not thousands of years old, huh? Yeah, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Yeah, that book was written 2,400 years ago. It's happening again. So, now we'll pray. But I don't want to pray to my maker. No, I just want to be feeling free. Not just who I am, but the pink and golden land and that wide, wild sky over me. Help me to the sun. Hey, I'm looking everywhere. See, I'm looking to become not the prayer, but the prayer. And I don't want to pray, no. I don't want to pray, no. I don't want to pray. We don't want to pray. Pray, and it's not much good to talk, better to walk it. Ooh, not much good to take, better to give. We are done, forgiven, and forgotten of our sins, and I promise you, my friends, all that dies will live again. So, pardon, God and Mom, what I'm saying isn't fair. See, I'm looking to become not the prayer, but the prayer, and I don't want to pray, no. I don't want to pray, no. I don't want to pray. We don't want to pray. Pray. Allah made love, and Yahweh made hate. Asher made good, and Anat made bad. Eloheinu made love, and Yahweh made hate. Allah, God made. But I don't want to pray to my Maker. I just want to be what I see. Not like in a book. Or leaves and trees that shook from a word that means only not a thing. No. Pardon, God and Mom, what I'm saying isn't fair. See, I'm looking to become not the prayer, but the prayer, and I don't want to pray, no. I don't want to pray, no. I don't want to pray. We don't want to pray. Pray. Allah made love, and Yahweh made hate. Asher made good, and Anat made bad. Eloheinu made love, and Yahweh made hate. Allah, God made me. How do you find forgiveness for someone when it feels like you can't? I don't know, Ash. I wish I knew. I don't think the world knows, frankly, right? When I see this trauma repeat itself over and over and over again, it makes me fear that forgiveness is not possible, right? Like, even though that's the promise of Jesus, right? One of the last times that the Levant was occupied by a foreign occupier, Jesus said, forgive him. And it changed the world, but it didn't actually stop the cycle of violence. There are people in my life that I cannot forgive. And I wish I could. But I can't, because they continue to keep hurting me. Right? And that's... How do you forgive someone when they are still causing you harm at the moment, right? How do you forgive someone when they continue to cause you harm? I don't know. I don't think that's human to do, right? I think there's a reason why we deified Jesus, right? I don't think that is a human thing to do. I think it's a divine thing to do. I don't think it's really a human trait to forgive someone who is causing us pain or oppressing us, traumatizing us, abusing us. No, I don't think it's possible to forgive them while it is happening. At least not for me. Yeah, I wish I could sit up here and preach forgiveness to you, but I can't. Because I don't know how to embody it in my own life. Yeah. So, we say Kaddish, right? We can grieve. If forgiveness is not within reach, we can at least grieve, right? We can acknowledge what we have lost. We can acknowledge what has been taken from us. We can acknowledge the pain and suffering that exists and the pain and suffering that we have caused, right? We can acknowledge the suffering we have caused. Get tired of people telling me to forgive. Yeah, so we can say Kaddish for all those who have died, and for all those who suffer and continue to suffer because of the cycles of oppression that never seem to end. For the last 2,500 years, since this time, since this time when Nehemiah returned and forged a new kind of oppression out of the ashes of the old, my people have been saying Kaddish in response to death. The words go like this. Yitgadal v'yitgadash Shema Rabba b'yalma divrachiyotei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayid kol beit Yisrael b'galav v'zman kariv v'yamru. Amen. Yehi Shema Rabba miva'arech li'alam olmei olmaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yirmam v'yinasei v'yitadar v'yitalei v'yitalal Shema dekudish ha'barechu leila min kol birchata b'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata di'amiran v'yama v'yamru. Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Amin Shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. Ose shalom b'imramav huya ase shalom aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. Ose shalom b'imramav huya ase shalom aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'yimru v'yimru. Amen. Thanks. Thanks for joining me this morning. Would you like to have some breakfast with me? I think it's breakfast time. I'm gonna go get some rice and seaweed and some lion's mane capsules. Very important to eat lion's mane until I can feel my face again. And my face has not quite returned to its full sensation, so I need to continue to eat lion's mane. Liquid diet for you. Gosh, can I ask you what surgery you're getting? It sounds really hard. I'm gonna have to, I'm not getting surgery in a few weeks, so I'm getting a colonoscopy in 2 or 3 weeks, so I will also have to have a liquid diet, and not excited about it. Not excited about it even a little bit. Bringing on your morning chores. What are your morning chores? Partial hysterectomy and tubal removal, removing the chance for cancer. Gosh, you're at risk. Oh my God. That's quite a lot to go through. What do I practice? Beliefs? Unity life. This is my practice, Lunita. My practice is here. And, my live content has shifted recently to be almost exclusively from a Jewish tradition because of the genocide that has started, right? My people are committing a genocide, and so I have to look at that. I have to look at it. So I've been saying more Hebrew prayers recently. Yeah. Got 4 babies. Got no time for cancer. And also, I guess no time for any more babies? I guess so. Putting away dishes, starting laundry, feeding all the dogs, then going to get some cleaning supply. Wow, that's quite a lot of cleaning, chronic bug lover. Quite a lot of cleaning. I'm gonna go get some rice, and I'll be back in under a minute, okay? Yeah. Alright. Okie dokie. Here's the rice. I give out such beautiful energy. Gosh, thank you, Lunita. That's really, really nice to hear. Baby number 4 wasn't planned, but was a wonderful and beautiful surprise. Drew, you're such a flirt. Such a flirt. Yeah, basically, it was soy sauce. Which, like, if we're being chemical about it, soy sauce is literally liquid aminos. But the brand liquid aminos and the concept is an American thing, an American health food thing. I like it well enough. Bragg's liquid aminos, right? But, yeah, I'm eating soy sauce today. Soy sauce is liquid aminos made with a fermentation process as opposed to a chemical process. Yep. Like liquid aminos is like, I don't exactly know what they do. They add like certain kind of solvents and whatnot to soy or chickpeas or whatever, rather than do it with yeast. Why do you enjoy watching me eat so much? I don't know, AJ. I know that it is a common kind of content to watch someone eat. You know, if you enjoy watching me eat, you could send some like food emojis. That's what I'm supposed to coach you to do. To show your gratitude and how thoroughly entertained you are by watching me put food into my mouth. It seems so silly. Hey, Allie. It's been such a long time. How are you? Nice to see you again. Ash, you have no need to apologize for having a life outside of this screen. Like if I go... Oh, thank you, Trina. Trina's buying me breakfast. I have to apologize if I go off screen because then I'm making bad content. You don't need to apologize. That is not your role. Trina, do you think they have a rice emoji? Rice gift? Yeah, you used to watch my dumpster diving and food and sustainability content when I made that stuff. I don't make that stuff anymore. I feel bad about it. Corn! It's corn! And an ice cream cone and a sweet melon. Oh my gosh. Thanks for buying me breakfast. You see no rice. Well, that sucks. TikTok, I need to eat healthier. I mean, pumpkin spice latte is basically chaga. It's basically the same thing. Thank you so much, Trina. I really appreciate that. You get sad when I end my lives. Well, I'm gonna be streaming here fairly regularly in the mornings. I think it's important. Big love? Wow. What are you trying to communicate to me, Trina? Are you experiencing big love? Black cat? Yes. Oh. You cannot pay for my love, but you can pay for my attention. That is how this works. You can absolutely pay for my attention. No doubt about it, right? I try to get your... this is my favorite one. Did you know this is my favorite one? That's my favorite one. Yeah, we're paying attention. Oh my god! Again? Thank you. Thank you so much, Trina. You're Hindu. Wow. Well, so on most days, Bug Lover, I say Arati. I haven't been recently because of this war. But I incorporate a lot of Sanskrit into my morning rituals. So, maybe next time we can do something in Sanskrit with you. Yeah. So if you check out the link in my bio, oh my god, hat in my Trina. If you check out the link in my bio, you can. I have a Discord server, and you can join the Discord server, and then you can be notified whenever I go live. That one made me a little dysphoric. Okay. Anyway, thank you. Thank you, Shelly. Check out the link in my bio and join the Discord server, and you can be notified when I go live. And also, we can chat more. We can chat more about Judaism and stuff. Like, sometimes, given that there's like lots of gifts and things, this live is a little bit distracting. But if you want to have a more concerted conversation, Discord is the best way to do it. I also have a Patreon. But if you don't want to send like silly gifts, if you want to do something more reliable, thank you, Trina. If you want to do something more reliable, you can subscribe to my Patreon. Patreon takes a much less of a cut than TikTok does. So that's also a really good way to support the work that we do here, support this community. So thanks. Please quit making it smile. Do I ever regret transition? No, I don't really ever regret transition. Sometimes I feel really bad about having to be so medicalized. But no, I don't ever regret transitioning. Yeah, I wish they stayed on longer too, except for the ones that make me dysphoric. I I don't really like seeing myself with a mustache, But, how do I stay chill all the time? What's my job? This is my job. My job is to stay chill on the internet in order to entertain you. So I stay chill because I want to connect. I want to connect with you. So I have a calculated, charismatic persona on the internet. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Thank you, C. You can guess, Ash. The irony is that I take more offense to people asking me the question than I do them getting it wrong, because they never get it wrong. But if they have to ask, it means they've noticed something peculiar about me. Thanks, I'm gay. Oh my god, Ash, do not apologize. I'm just, you haven't done anything wrong. You can guess. I'm just trying to maybe give you another wrinkle of the pronoun game, that for some people, asking their pronouns is not always seen as polite. It's not that you shouldn't do it. Thank you, Field Cricket. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for the llama. I'm eating seaweed. I love eating seaweed. It's like, it's good fiber. And it's oily and it's salty. Like, yeah, seaweed is fantastic. Who in their right mind would guess anything other than she? Some people would. You're sending the story and the nonfiction piece inspired by me in the Discord. Thank you, Erin. I remember you saying you were going to do that, and then it never happened. I just didn't think about it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to reading it. Right? Like, if you ask me my pronouns, it means that you've clocked me, right? It means that you noticed that there's something queer about me, which is fine. I don't try to hide that there's something queer about me. But generally speaking, upon first impression, I want people to notice that I'm a woman, not that I'm a queer woman, right? Like, I'd like that to come a little bit later. But, so it goes. Everyone's perception is valid, Does my family support me? Some of my family does. Some of my family does not. Depends. You've been so anxious about me. Well, Aaron, to set your expectations, I may or may not have time to share my thoughts with you in much detail. I'm very excited that you are posting it, and I will absolutely take a look at it. I'm not sure if I will be able to respond or not. It depends on what my life is like. But I feel very touched that you want to share it with me, for sure. Ever since you've been nervous? I'm sorry, maybe I missed that. Ever since what you've been nervous? Thank you for the panther paws, Trina. Thank you so much. You're really spoiling me. Like you have now given me like 100 times more gifts than most people ever give me. Thank you, Trina. It really makes a difference. Like sometimes I doubt whether I can sustainably spend my time on TikTok like this because it doesn't usually pay. But you've just paid me a living wage for my time on this morning, and that's really incredible. Thank you so much. You got yelled at by someone for using her, even though she just like a yeah, I understand. People have different relationships to pronouns, right? Like I cannot tell you the one right way to do it. There is no right way to do it. Like sometimes you will offend people. It's just the way the world is. I don't like being called out for my queerness in public, and when someone asks me my pronouns, that's happening. But it's not that I don't like it that much. Like obviously I am an openly trans woman on the internet, right? Like I get far worse than people asking me my pronouns. When did you take the spiral? You're not alone in this crazy world. You're doing great things. Thanks. I'm keeping you entertained while you work from home, so you appreciate me. What is your job? What is your work from home, Trina? Like, God, I so appreciate what you're doing. Like, truly, it is basically impossible to make a living wage on this app. But you're compensating me for my time very well, and I'm deeply grateful for it. You're a healthcare recruiter. Like, you help people get on health insurance? Hey, Maddie, how are you? You talk to nurses all day. Oh, you hire nurses for hospitals. That's really cool. I have a friend who just finished nursing school, and she was telling me about it. It seems like a really intense job. I'm good, Maddie. It's really nice to see you again. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Maddie. I appreciate that. You work for an agency and you personally staff school nurses. Oh, wow. Yeah, I bet that's really rewarding. School nurses all across your area. How is my relationship with my mother? Pretty good. Could be better. Much better than my relationship with my father. Because did you know that I'm a trans woman with daddy issues? Oh my goodness. What a surprise. You're a carer. It's challenging. Yeah, caring is very challenging. Very challenging indeed. Do I use any mudras during meditation? I have been trained, at times in my life, I've been trained to use this mudra, but not very thoroughly, right? Like, I don't even actually know what it is called, unfortunately. At one point I did, right? But the teacher who told me the name of it, I haven't studied with him in a very long time. So when I'm meditating, I don't normally do this. Yeah, normally I have my hands on my knees or together with my fingers interlaced. But yeah, it's very powerful if you have the kind of discipline to hold those postures. Like they do things. How are trans people viewed in the Jewish faith? Diversely, Lightning McQueef. Variously. Thank you, Omar. I'm about to get going too. I just finished my breakfast, so it's time to move on with the living. How is it going? It's going pretty good. Thank you for being here, Omar. Omar, have you joined the Discord server? I'm not sure if you have, and if you have, you're not very active on it. This is Lion's Mane. I made a video about it right before my facial feminization surgery if you want to learn more about the particular properties of this particular pill. Yeah, lion's mane fungus. I'm going to sign off now, but I will be here tomorrow to say these words once more for all of you. So I hope to see you there, and do please check out the link in my bio, and join the Discord server. We can chat on Discord. It's pretty great. I really like being connected to folks on Discord. I hope you have an amazing day, Trina. Yeah, check out the link in my bio. And as I said, there's but when you do, you'll join. Okay, yeah. There's a link to the Discord. There's a link to my Patreon. So Patreon is like the best way to support the stream sustainably. Like, the gifts are really lovely, but there's something like it's mediated through TikTok basically, and TikTok takes a huge cut, whereas Patreon does not. Yeah, so Patreon gives me a more direct connection. Discord and Patreon, both of them, give me a more direct connection to you, and that's really special. So check out those places, and thank you for sharing your morning with me. I really appreciate it, and I will see you again soon. It's always good to see you too, Erin. Have a lovely day. One last lion's mane. Okay. All right. I'm gonna head out. Thank you. I love you all.